We're doing well. In this video, I wanted to talk about these new products that I've been adding to my program, and a lot of my clients have been adding them to the program, and a lot of practitioners are actually adding them to the program, which is a testament to how amazing they are. Just as a side note, I've been obviously doing the program for 11 years. I haven't added anything. I've changed a few things. For example, we've now got activated Limcamin and Megapan, which I think is an improvement, obviously. I mean, how can you not get an improvement with using activated ingredients? And that's about it, really. So I just offer a bit of advice with people who've got EMF sensitivity and saunas. I've changed that a little bit. And I've been talking to a few other practitioners about iron and chromium on hair analysis tests, and we're going to look into potentially trying to understand why they're sort of chronically low, and potentially adding a few things in to increase them levels on hair analysis tests. But that's about it. But I have started adding these products to the programs, and they're nothing short of amazing from what I'm gathering so far. So this is a product called the company called Lifewave. They've been making products now for 10 years. Their sort of main product at the moment is this Lifewave X39 patch. So I'm going to discuss a few of them, explain sort of what they do, and just talk about some of the stuff that I'm using and how it's improving people. So the real amazing one is probably the X39. I'll just explain the technology a little bit. So a lot of people just think these are patches. They are patches. You do put them on the body, but then they're non-transdermal. So that basically means it's not a patch that you would think of, whereas there's something on the patch, and the patch, the ingredients of that goes into the skin, and you take in minerals or, chemicals or whatever, drugs through the skin. These actually work a little bit different, and basically our bodies are actually made up of light. If you actually look down at a molecular level, that's why a lot of people call us light beings. And similar to, when we get vitamin D using the sun's rays, basically the frequency of the sun's rays stimulate our bodies to make vitamin D. This does a similar thing, whereby our bodies actually emit a tiny bit of infrared light. And what these patches do is they basically emit that light back into the body. So they reflect the light back into the body at a very specific frequency that does different things. So this particular one, Lifewave X39, that actually reflects light back into the body and stimulates a peptide called GHK-Cu. This is a peptide that binds to copper. But it also does some other amazing things. So whenever the GHK-Cu is high in the body, it actually stimulates our body to generate more stem cells. And if you know what stem cells are, they're basically cells that the body creates, and that those cells can basically turn into any other cells. So if you've got damaged cells within the body, the stem cells will basically go around and replace those cells. Another amazing thing that the GHK-Cu does is it actually resets about a third of our genome to a younger state. So people literally, it's like age reversal. So some of the amazing things that I've seen happen with the Lifewave X39 products, one amazing thing is actually copper balancing. So if there's any excess copper stuck in the cells, the peptide will actually go and bind onto that and make it available. So I've seen people go through copper dumps. But what's amazing, and something that I've always struggled with personally on the program, I've always wanted something to help, is that when people do the program and balance out copper, one, it takes usually a long time, and people have got to do the program extremely well. But when people do actually end up dumping copper into the blood, there's usually nothing actually in the blood there to catch onto it, to grab onto it and remove it from the body. So people can go through very, very intense healing reactions. I went through a similar thing, and there's not much really that can stop it or dampen it. Can be quite difficult, but we've never really figured out a really good way of sort of balancing copper out apart from the program. But the amazing thing about this particular product is that it will go and bind to copper. So people get a lot of the copper detox reactions, headaches, testicular pain, anxiety, maybe a little bit of sleep disturbances, but the symptoms are way less, nowhere near as intense. And when we get the hair tests back, we do see copper go into a very healthy range, which is obviously quite amazing. So that's one good thing, is that people are generally balancing out copper much quicker. Another amazing thing is because the stem cells are more higher in the body, we'll get people who get a lot of healing in the liver, for example. So one issue that we get with men especially, and especially people that have took Accutane, I've noticed on the program, they have a lot of difficulties with sort of ejaculation, and it can make people feel very down and depressed and difficult. And people are having very good success with stopping that feeling. I've been doing the program for 11 years, and I still get that feeling a little bit, and I've never fully permanently overcome it. And I have noticed with the X39 patches that seems to have gone, which is astounding. It also is very powerful on the lungs, so a lot of people get much better lung capacity. That happened to me as well. I didn't think I had lung problems, but we do have emphysema that runs in our family, and the GHK seems to reset the emphysema gene and helps out with that a lot. So my lung capacity has improved dramatically. Energy improves. I've seen people overcome liver disease. It's helping people with wound healing. Very good for wound healing. People with structural issues that have been niggling them for years and years. Liver issues. I mean, one thing that this peptide does. So there's a guy called Lauren Pickart who found the peptide, and that what they basically found is if they put liver cells of an old person into a young person's blood, they actually found that the liver cells will basically change into a younger person's cells, and they actually found that it's the GHK that did this. So it's very good at regenerating the liver. And I think this is something that Dr. Wilson talks about with the development program. One of the main aims of it is sort of organ regeneration. And in my opinion, the only way to really do that is to increase your stem cells. And GHK and stem cells decrease over time with age. So logic would say if you do something like the program, where it's highly nourishing, over time your GHK will naturally increase as your copper is more balanced, and you will get more stem cells, and the stem cells will regenerate organs. This takes years, decades on the program, but I'm finding that actually by using this product, that whole process speeds up dramatically. They've done studies using the X39 with on the heart with cardiovascular health, and after 6 months, they're finding that the cardiovascular health will actually go backwards. 8 years, 10 years. So it's really amazing. And I've always thought, if someone can, use light to heal, it's similar to using the saunas. Then people will be onto a winner. And I definitely think this product is doing that. And the company's getting huge just because the products work so well. And a lot of people will feel changes sometimes within minutes. Pain is another big thing that people overcome quite dramatically. Back pain and various muscular pain, and that pain can literally go within minutes. It's quite astounding. So yeah, I mean, if you do want to get involved with these patches, I am going to put a link down in the description. But you can get wholesale prices if you become a distributor. If that's something that you are interested in, then send me an email. I'll put my email in the description. I'll send you a link to sign up to a distributor account. You can sort of join our team and our Telegram group, and people are always talking in there about different things that are happening. and anything to do with Lifewave, we sort of are all chatting in that group. So if you do want to become a distributor, just send me an email. I'll send you the link, and you can get involved. So another quite amazing product. It's actually similar to the X39. Is the X49. So this is another copper copper peptide, and this works more on sort of muscular health. So as you know, as you get older, the muscles degenerate, and this works a lot at keeping them muscles strong and healthy. So a lot of old people are actually using the X39, and their exercise levels and capabilities are improving dramatically, and they seem to reverse their age. Now, another amazing thing that people have found out just by using these two patches, so if you use the X39 and the X49 together, what people are finding is that they're overcoming EMF sensitivity. And early studies are showing that when you use these two patches together, because copper is made so available in the skin, it basically can create a bit of a Faraday cage around the body, cancelling out EMF frequencies, which is, nothing short of astounding. I do want to say, before everyone gets, 1,000,000% excited, for some people, they say that they don't really feel anything. So from what I've been researching and looking at, is for some people it can take some time. I do know a couple of practitioners who didn't feel anything, and then after a month or two, all of a sudden, I know one practitioner, their depression just left them. So they was depressed because of this certain thing that was going on in their life. That went, and chronic calcium shells have come down after 10 years by using these products. So yeah, some people don't feel like they can feel anything, and then after 3 to 6 months, all of a sudden they start noticing changes. So don't throw the baby out there with the bathwater. But I will say a really good thing that the Lifewave company does is that if people do try them and they don't feel anything, and you don't really want to go on for another month or 2 or 3, they will give you a refund. So it's not as if you're going to be wasting your money. If you really don't want to go ahead with it after a month, then you can just go and get a refund, and they will give you a refund even if you've used the products. So that's really, really good. So the energy enhancer, I don't really use that, but my partner does. We've just had a baby, so the energy enhancer works on the ATP in the cells, and it helps the cells generate energy through that. I'm not sure whether I would 100% want to recommend this yet, because I prefer people to try and regenerate their energy using the program, because usually it's toxins and stuff like that that hold people back with their energy. But if people need a little boost now and again, then the energy enhancers are really helpful. I've tried them, and they definitely improved my energy. Well, my energy is really good, so it was a little bit stimulating for me, so I've not really used these too much. So this carnosine's a bit of a dark horse. Whenever I sort of tried carnosine in the past, it was a little bit heavy, like a heaviness. I found, but carnosine is something that we find in our bodies, and basically, if it's high in the body, you get increased flexibility, balance, strength. What I've personally noticed is it's really, really good for sleep. And it also seems to help with energy balancing, sort of more etheric energy balancing, which I found quite amazing. This is something I'm going to look into further, the carnosine one, but I really, really like it. And when I'm sort of like, I've got a kid now, so sometimes I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I put one of these on, and it really helps me sort of drift off back to sleep much easier. But yeah, that's something I'm going to look further into. I've only just started really using that one. This glutathione one's quite amazing too. So glutathione is basically the master detoxifier in our bodies, and it binds onto all sorts of stuff, metals. It binds onto chemicals. It binds onto sort of bioavailable minerals. It's really, really powerful. And what this does is it naturally increases our glutathione in our bodies. So you could actually go through healing reactions similar to if you was doing the full program just by adding one of these patches on, which I find quite astounding, to be honest. So anyone that's struggling with detoxification, feel like they're not really getting anywhere, I definitely recommend the glutathione one. I've not looked into this AccuLife one. That's to do with horses and horse health, but apparently it helps with pain in horses. Icewave patches is another amazing one. This works on pain relief. So anyone that's struggling with pain, they get a lot of help from Icewave. A lot of people have got chronic pain that they can't really get rid of, and Icewave really seems to help with that. Aeon is a great one for sort of getting people into more of a parasympathetic state. So it basically induces more of a parasympathetic state, and it really helps with immune system regulation. I was a little bit stimulated into this one initially, but after I used it for about 3 days, I felt way more relaxed. So when I sort of finished work at the end of the day, I could put an Aeon on, and it sort of like brings you right down, relaxes you, and puts you more into a parasympathetic state. So I quite like using that actually in the sauna, because you can really get deep. So Silent Nights, this is another great one. So this actually increases our melatonin in our bodies naturally. So when I first started, tried this one, I did really feel it quite powerfully. I've got to admit, after a few days, not so much. Maybe that's because I don't really sleep bad anyway. I've probably got decent melatonin levels. But yeah, that one, I would definitely try it out if you're struggling with health. But I actually think the carnosine one is probably a little bit better personally. But I suppose everyone's different. SP6 Complete, SP6 Complete. This is appetite suppressant. So if people are struggling with overeating on carbohydrates and sugars, and just overeating in general, just of the wrong foods, that can help just calm that down a little bit. And then Nirvana is a mood enhancer. So basically, improves our mood by increasing endorphins in the brain. So I've personally not really found any difference when I've tried this one, but again, my mood is usually always really good. But my partner obviously just had a baby, and she swears by these Nirvana patches, so they're really helpful. But really, the game changers are the X39 in sort of like for deep healing. So I would definitely recommend, if you do want to sort of test the waters with these, get the X39. And if you do want to send it back, then obviously you can do, and there's no pressure there, which is helpful, because I don't want people to buy things and not really feel anything. But I do think that these patches are a little bit like supplementation on the program. So some people can be a little bit stimulated at times, similar to supplements. And some people don't really feel anything in the beginning. Similar to supplements, it doesn't really mean that nothing's happening. So I would say to approach them a little bit like supplements do. For some people, supplements work very rapidly, very quickly. My body's quite primed at the moment for sort of anything, so I do react to things quite strongly in a good way, because my body, is much better at digesting things, and just my cell permeability is pretty good, so I generally can feel things quite rapidly. So yeah, that's an overview. So yeah, really like the X39, really like the X49. If a lot of this is down to finances. I mean, it's $149, and then you got to add tax on that, so it can get a little bit pricey. But what I will say, if that's a struggle, if you could wear the patches sort of like for 4 days for like 6 hours a day. So if you sort of divided, if you had the tax on, divided it by 4, it can work out at like maybe $40 a month. Which is no different to a bottle of, if you look at GB3, for example, how expensive that is, or Megapan, then you can sort of see actually it's not too bad. But if you are a distributor, obviously you can make some money off it, which is always helpful. If you are teaching about health and spending time helping people, obviously you do need to be paid for the time. So you can actually earn a little bit of money from selling these as a distributor. So I've obviously incorporated them into my practice. And just like I make a little bit of money off supplements by, telling people about them, you can make a little bit from that. So there's a bit of a financial incentive too. But obviously that's not the main thing. It's just that the products are actually really, really amazing. So what I'll do is I'll pop the links in the description. Go and check them out. It'd be good for you to join our Telegram group. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and speak to you soon.